Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we got writer, actor. This dude is a phenomenal person, and he's going to be someone you're going to be hearing a lot from or about for a long time. We got Mr. Micah Fikes. I almost said your name wrong. My bad.
All good.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it's
So,
good to be here. I'm excited to be on the show.
oh yeah. Uh so before we kind of get into all the movies and everything like that, kind of take us back when you were younger. What was some of your inspirations to want to get into film, and was it something you wanted to do, or is it something that just happened because it happened?
Well, I guess to start, I originally wanted to be a director more than anything. I didn't even have the acting part in mind. I've always loved stories and storytelling, and movies just really connected with me. And at some point in my life, it was about I want to say fifth grade, is when I really was like, I want to be a director. I want to make movies. I want to tell stories. I want to inspire people. I want to, you know, help people see like in other people's shoes, things like that. And so I kind of just started down that path. For every school project, if we had the opportunity to use video at all, I would be trying to make like a movie or a short. Some like say for a science project or for a history project. I was trying to factor that into every little thing I did just because I really enjoyed it. My friends and I, we always tried to make skits and stuff, tried to make people laugh. And I saved up money and purchased all kinds of books and stuff like Director's Guide to this and that. And as time went on, per usual, I started focusing on other things. I kind of got away from it. It was kind of everyone said, you don't make money in that field. It's only a few percentage of people are successful in film. And it kind of bummed me out and turned me away from it for a little while. And then, I started going through different stages. And as I got to my senior year in high school, I was getting ready to move out to Arizona and pursue software engineering out there, Arizona State University. COVID hit, the pandemic hit my senior year, kind of shut everything down. And at that point in time, it just didn't seem like a smart idea to move halfway. It's not halfway across the world, but it felt like it, moving all the way to the other side of the United States when, we're everything's locked down and we're going through that a change in the world. So I just decided to stay in my hometown, close to family, and it kind of sparked again. I was doing my online classes for Arizona State University because I decided to do online and eventually go out when everything was lifted. And we needed to pick an elective. And I was going through the electives and I was like, okay. And I see Film 101. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that because I thought about how I used to love to do that. And I forget how many classes I had, but I know for certain the one that I loved out of everything was that Film 101 class. That was my favorite class to do projects for, to do assignments for. And at that point, it was kind of like, what am I doing? Like I'm pushing towards something I really don't want to do. And this is kind of a sign right here, like, dude. So I just literally searched up Columbus acting, and that's where it began. I started doing classes, I started meeting people, and then fast forward 6 years, because that was like late 2020, I want to say, fall 2020. Fast forward 6 years, and now here I am today. I've been a part of I'm not bragging or anything, I'm just catching up to where I'm at. I've
Oh
been a
yeah.
part of numerous short films, I've been a part of numerous feature films. I've met so many amazing people in this industry and in this part of the world in the Midwest. Even people out LA and stuff. I know people out there, and it's just it's crazy how much bigger my world has gotten, like that I'm aware of because of all these different people I've met from all over the states.
Oh yeah.
And it's really awesome what I'm doing. And I love doing what I do, and I hope to do it for many more years.
Oh yeah. Uh, so I actually have seen some of your stuff. So obviously, you the Woodsman was up for some NC-17 awards and stuff. Uh, it, in going from obviously the pandemic, like you said, shut down everything.
Yeah.
So once that was over and everything started kind of getting loosened and opening up and everything like that, when you were able to kind of finally go and be on that first set, what was that feeling like?
So after, because I took about a year and a half of classes. So I want to say it was about 6 to 8 months after that before I finally got my first thing, which obviously on a newer actor, someone who's not aware of the scene and how it works, I didn't have the professional pictures I needed. I didn't have any demo reels. I had zero experience going into it. And I finally got my first thing. It was just background extras, no pay, but you get credit and, food. And so I was like, yeah, that's a good start. So I go and do it, and we get everything set up. I'm kind of just looking around. I'm kind of introducing myself to people, and we set up a scene for a school scene where I think it's just like walking through the hallway and stuff, and I'm like one of the little background characters or students that just walks around the corner. The 5 second scene where you walk down from the locker, turn the corner, and that's it. To me, I did that, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. I felt it right away, just being on set in that presence. It might have been 5 seconds of screen time in the background, blurred out, where I just walk around a corner.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it was amazing just being able to be there and be a part of it. And it was incredible. It was like that fire within you where you're like, this is what I want to do with my life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then just you still never get used to the feeling, at least in my shoes. No matter where you're at, however many sets you step on, it's always that fire like, man, I'm just happy to be here. I'm tired. I'm running rampant for the past couple days. I need sleep. I'm hungry, but I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
anywhere else. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. And to think you went from a 5 second, background to working with, in my opinion, some of the most powerful, like some powerhouses in the independent scene, Spooks Medicine
Yep.
and Dusty Austin.
Oh,
Both phenomenal people.
absolutely, they are.
Yeah. And so kind of traversing your way from background to, screen time and stuff like that, and then also becoming a writer and everything. Did you find that it was a smooth transition, or was it a transition that had its stops and goes here and there?
Um, I would say looking back at it, like if I was looking at it from like a giant graph saying 2020 to 2026, it feels like a smooth transition. But if you would like go in and look at like say you would zoom in on the graph and would see, okay, from year one to year two, it would be like this. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I mean, you have some low lows. I mean, I've had lows where it's been months. I don't get anything booked. I'm just like, oh, auditions aren't, I'm not getting anything back. And then I have a couple months where, hey, oh, I'm booked. No, I'm sorry, I'm booked next weekend. And then I have to turn down other roles, which I'm grateful to be in that position in the first place. But there's times where you're not as busy. So going from getting that very first role booked and feeling up here, and then it goes down, waiting, waiting, and then I get the next one. And I think what really stands out is the fact that every time I'm on set, and this would be advice for, I say, any new actors or people that are really trying to make their way in the scene, you have to show people you're passionate about what you're doing. If
Hmm.
if I show up to set and I'm on my phone, I'm really quiet, which I mean, I used to have really bad anxiety. I did a while back, and it took me a long time to get over it. I say I'm a extroverted introvert. I still recharge at home, chilling by myself or with my family, but I had to make myself talk to people, learn how to talk to people.
Oh yeah.
And I just started introducing myself to people. Hi, my name's Micah. I'm doing this today. What are you doing? And you can kind of tell some people might be really busy. You might want to wait and give them a few before you try to introduce yourself, especially on bigger sets. But I would introduce myself to people. I would get their name. They would get my name. And then say you book something a couple months later. Hey, I remember you from last time. And it'd be like a complete difference between, if I was just on my phone, not paying attention, or I didn't say anything, I was kind of in my own world, they would never have remembered me or known me. And then they're like, hey, you know what? There's this other project where they're looking for this. I mean, then they'll give you the information and then it just begins to spread. I mean, that very first one I told you about with the 5 second um, hallway scene, that's when I first met a mutual of uh, Spooky Madison and I. That's how I eventually got to meet them and work with them is because I met that person and then they're like, oh, I introduced myself. We became pretty close friends. And then I slowly got to meet people in their circle and then they introduced me, hey, this is blah blah. They want to know if you're available for this project. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And then that's how I slowly get introduced to more and more people. People
Uh,
start to understand who I am and they see that I am passionate. I have other people saying, yeah, he's passionate about what he does. He's serious. He shows up, he's ready to work. He's gonna give you what you need. And I'm not trying to like inflate myself, but this is things people have said to me and about me
uh,
that I can quote, and it's really it makes me really happy, and it's very honoring. I can't think of a word for it. It's just
it
I
makes you humble.
yeah, exactly. It makes me so happy to hear that people can say these things about me, and I'm just being myself and doing what I love, which is this acting stuff, is doing the film. And then I have all these ideas, and it takes one person on set to say, why don't you write stuff? And I'm like, you know, that's a good point. And then I ask for advice. I reach out to some of these people and say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Do you have any, I reach out. I'm like, hey, sorry, I'm bugging you. And most of the time they're like, no, you're good, you're good. And they'll advise me on a lot of things. And that's how I started bridging my way into the acting world. I try to learn from each set I'm on. And then when I want to make my own film, I'm like, okay, I learned how they do things here. Somebody I met from a different set, I reached out to them and they're part of my crew now. And it's like a big spider web. It's like a big spider web where everybody is connected to different parts. More than likely, if I'm on a set in Ohio, I'll recognize somebody, whether it's somebody on sound, somebody behind the camera, somebody in front of the camera. I'm going to recognize at least one person. It's just so intertwined and it's so important how you be respectful of other people.
Mhm.
You, you know, and you show people you're passionate about what you're doing. You're there to be serious. You're there to work, but you're also there to have fun. I mean, it's a delicate balance, but you don't want to, you don't want to lag behind if people are trying to get things done, but also it's hard, not just on talent, but on crew and everybody in the background. Everybody's trying to work together to make this machine work. And it's important to realize like what we're doing is not the easiest job in the world, and it's not always the highest paying job in the world, but we're all here because we're passionate.
Oh yeah,
That's why I feel like it stands out to other people is because that's why they're here. So then when they see you have it, they're like, okay, this is somebody I want to work with.
oh yeah. So I do a little bit of research on anybody who's going to be a guest, just so I can kind of preference some of just a little bit of knowledge that I got. So let's talk about The Woodsman for a minute, because I know you wrote it, but you starred in it,
Yeah.
and your daughter was also your daughter was also she played your daughter.
Yeah.
Uh, but you didn't want to direct.
Yeah. So I did and didn't at the same time because a friend of mine recommended, they said, if it's your first film, you should try to avoid all three. And by all three, I mean acting in it, directing it, and producing it. They say you should choose two, have somebody else do something else. So it's either, okay, you can produce it and act in it, but have somebody else direct. Or you can direct it and produce it, but you got to have somebody else star in it. or vice versa.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I did because it would have been a nightmare, in my opinion, just trying to gung ho and do that all on the run and try to manage everything I was doing because it was a lot. I mean, one of the things I underestimated about The Woodsman was I was forgetting a lot of my lines. I mean, I didn't have very many, but even the ones I did have, I was forgetting them because usually I prepare a different way when it's just a film I'm acting in. But then when I'm preparing location, communicating with all the crew, getting all the paperwork and stuff ready, and then at the beginning of the day, I'm not just going over my lines. I'm okay, shot list. This is what we're gonna do. This is the order. I was like, oh, I'm forgetting my lines because I was like, okay, I need to prepare differently now because I have all these different hats on. So I would definitely recommend. Obviously, some people do it well, and if you can do it well and go, then go for it. I think that's amazing. It's just ex- in my specific situation, I found it was easier for me to focus on the acting part and then doing the producing and having somebody else direct and they were also doing cinematography as well. So they were handling a lot of that. I would still step behind and be like, okay, can we like punch this in? Can we change this movement a little bit? Because I still have some like idea of how I want things to look, but I'm trusting this, I'm trusting them. That's why I asked them to do it. I'm trusting them to take care of that for me. So it's, I think eventually I can get there, but I just wanted to play it safe and because I feel like if you put too many hats on, you put too many eggs in too many different baskets, they're gonna get cold, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, so I do want to talk a little bit more about The Woodsman because it was a phenomenal movie.
Oh,
Trust me,
thank you.
I
Thank you.
really enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it, and she don't like horror movies. So, uh, but when you were coming up with the story, like, was it a precise kind of like you knew who you wanted for it, or what, or did you have people audition for roles? Because we actually have a mutual acquaintance. Because Brian Reif, who was in your film, was also in my film.
Yeah.
So how did you go about that? And did you do the whole audition thing, or how'd you go about casting it?
So I kind of went the traditional route. I posted a casting call on Facebook. So I I was already planning to star in it just because I had an idea how I wanted it to be, and that's how I wrote it. But also, I figured might be a little easier to work with because this is my first film and I don't want to terrorize somebody. And it might, like, yes, can you do this? Can we do this? So I was like, at least if I'm terrorizing myself, I'll be fine. I'll be okay trying to figure everything out. And then for the other roles, I posted castings for them and people came in, they gave their auditions. And it was interesting because usually I'm always on the sending audition side, but now I'm on the receiving audition. So when I'm going through and I'm essentially being like a I'm casting people. It was very interesting watching the different setups and the different interpretations of this character that I wrote. So eventually we ended up casting who we thought were the best for the role, which Giselle did phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And all the extras, Brian, Luke, and Tom, they did great. They had the presence that we wanted, everything that we wanted, the feeling. It was spectacular.
Oh yeah. So let's kind of talk about the audition process a little bit because this is something I don't think a lot of people really talk about in the public. You know, I don't know. Like I can only preference what I do. Like I do a cold read. I don't have them act with nobody. It's like here's the lines. However you want to make this character come to life, show me. Is that how you did it, or did you put it where they could have like a reading partner so they can kind of gauge, so you can gauge how they would be with somebody?
So specifically for that one, I did not ask for a reading partner. I mean, At the time, I wasn't super aware of it. It was kind of a basic casting call, just saying this is the character, give me your best interpretation. I actually am I actually was casting for a short that I'm going to direct and produce and act in here later this spring called Sleepwalker. We already finished the casting process. I'm just going over the final auditions and stuff. And in this one, I actually requested to have a speaker. And in this instance, it made it so much better having the speaker in there, at least in my opinion. So that's something I learned, for instance, from the first movie I did, is it's a very small difference, but from here on out, I'm definitely going to be asking, please have a speaker if you can. I mean, if not, that's fine. It's just preferable and it's easier to see how somebody's reacting to something, I guess, because say like somebody's saying a monologue that like the reader would have a monologue. If there's no reader, I'm kind of just watching them react to nothing.
Hmm.
So I think there's a lot of open-endedness there that can be confusing for both sides. But
Oh
if you
yeah.
have a reader, you can see what they're reacting to
Oh,
specifically.
oh,
Yeah. So I feel like that definitely helps. And then there's this app that I actually use. It's called My Line, and it's on the
yeah.
App Store. It's completely free and it's still kind of in early development, but I've spoken with the creator, and it's a fantastic app. It's got a few bugs, but it you can record your lines. It waits and listens for you to say your line, and then it reads back whatever line is next to you. So it's almost replaced my reader now. I just have it read it back to me, but My Line, I would definitely recommend that.
Oh, yeah. So it's funny because I kind of went the opposite way. So with Not There Part One, they had a reader. Not
Yeah.
There Part Two, they didn't have a reader. I mean, there's pros and cons to both, but I can definitely see your point of, like if they're reading with someone, you kind of get more of the feeling of how they're going to be in the movie. So
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I've
oh,
had spectacular auditions with no reader. I mean, I think it works either way. Like me personally, I'll probably have a reader, but at the end of the day, if somebody submits something and it's a great performance and there's no reader, I'm not going to hold that against them.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Uh, so lately in the independent scene, there's been a lot of like people bringing their kids in and acting with them and stuff like that. So when you did that for The Woodsman and you cast your daughter, what was it like? Because was it constant, father daughter kind of mode, or was it? Some people can, kind of like take it a
Yeah.
director or writer, father. You know, what was your approach to that?
I mean, honestly, it was very easy. I didn't feel like I really had to separate myself differently. My daughter and I, we have such a good relationship. She was a little embarrassed because, giant cameras and all these people in the room watching, and she was like, "Okay, why is everyone here?" Which is normal. So, like in all her scenes that we did, it was actually the only people in the room were her and I for
Uh,
all of her camera scenes. So I would be behind the camera, and it would look like in the film she's talking to her mom, but in reality I'm there repeating lines back to her, and which
uh,
she did a phenomenal job. But I didn't really feel like I had to separate that. I mean, the having the same relationship in real life that we do in the film, I mean, I think that translated pretty well for the screen. I mean, we had a lot of the dialogue we had back and forth and the hug and stuff. And I know some people like to avoid working with kids or animals just because when oh sorry, I had something come in.
I know you're good.
Yep. Okay. Do not disturb on. So when working with kids and animals, I know that you have to sign different waivers, and there's a lot more that goes into it. So I've noticed on sets, people will usually get their scenes that involve any kids or minors or animals out of the way first. They'll try to tackle that first because it does take a lot of extra time. Because if if a kid's getting frustrated, you don't want to push them or anything. Like that's okay. We'll take a break and we can come back to it. And then when you work with adults, like, hey, are you good? We want to make sure you're okay. An adult can be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. We can do like two more takes or whatever the situation is. It's because they understand their limit, but you don't want to try to push an animal or push kids or anybody to do something they're uncomfortable or if they're getting frustrated or they're getting tired. It can become a little difficult, especially when you are on a schedule. Like, say, we got to have this done today. There's a lot of factors. So I figured, okay, if she wants to do it, because that was the first thing, was like, do you want to do this? You're gonna be your birthday. It's gonna be your birthday in the movie. You're gonna be in a movie. And once I explained it to her, she was really excited. She wanted to do it. And then it was just walking through that process on screen, walking her through everything and kind of teaching her and showing her like what to do and, making sure she's not getting a little frustrated or grumpy or tired or hungry. So it removed some factors, I guess, some variables that could cause it to last longer, or if, I don't know, have to possibly reschedule and reshoot another day.
Okay.
So I guess it made it a little easier in that instance, but I mean, I really didn't feel like I had to change much. She was just she did great.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh, so I don't want to spoil for the people who haven't seen it yet, but I don't want to spoil the movie. But kind of just tell us the story from from like when you were thinking about it to when you finished filming it. Tell us the story of like your the whole process you had, and then also kind of give the brief synopsis of what the movie is. So then for the people who haven't seen it, they'll know what they're going to watch when they watch it.
Yeah. So essentially the whole thing started from like a Halloween mask and I forget what the tool is called. His axe that he wields in the film, it's actually like an old farm tool and it has like a hook on the top, but the hook broke off so it looks just like an axe. And it was my great grandmother's.
Uh,
So the idea came to me like, what if there was like a slasher or like a monster that was like a frontiersman? Like and then I just slowly started going into it and thinking I'm like, oh, he could be like have supernatural powers, he could set traps and stuff. That could be really what he specializes in, like mystical. And slowly the idea was born of this character. And he, how he acts. He has this presence about him. He's tall, he's broad-shouldered, but he's smart. It's not a typical chase monster slasher. Or at least I don't want to say that like it's a bad thing. It's just like he's separated from other slashers and stuff.
yeah.
He'll set traps. He'll be a little more strategic about what he does, but he also has um supernatural abilities as well, which some of them are detailed in the film, others are kind of a little more subliminal, which I am working on writing a feature right now, and that will be highlighted a lot more in the feature when we get to that point.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's starting from just a mask and an axe to this full blown character with all these abilities. He has all these motivations. It's really cool to see an idea blossom from a seed to a full-grown idea.
Oh yeah. You know. So let's kind of go over some of your projects you got under your belt. One I really want to see is The Boy from Below.
Yeah.
Uh Still haven't seen that one. I really do want to see that one. Kind of tell us in a brief synopsis of that film without spoiling anything and how you play into it.
Um, so off the bat, I won't lie, I do have a smaller part in it. I'm kind of a guest at a party that they have when they're like for the town is having. I I'm the cowboy. I have the cowboy hat and the big trench coat on, and I think there's a part where I'm dancing and stuff. But essentially, it's it's like a killer movie. I'm trying to think because I don't want to give away too much for people that haven't seen it. And I want to I want to play the safe route and say less instead of saying more.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's like a slasher movie. It's the
Well, I don't want you to get in trouble, so
No,
we
let's
just
just
say,
say the slasher has a traumatic childhood. A lot of stuff goes down with his family, and he kind of everyone thinks he disappears, and then he comes back to wreak vengeance on this town, pretty much. I don't want to go anymore because I don't want to say any more without saying too much, but it's very good. Story is very good.
oh yeah. So the first time that like I know a lot of people, and this is a respect thing, and I hope you take it that way.
Yeah.
So when I first heard about you was we have another mutual acquaintance. Uh, you were cast in a movie called Hallways of the Unforgiven, which is not out yet, which I don't think has began filming yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, uh, when you auditioned for that, uh, what was it like in like what was your feeling knowing you were going to be in that kind of slasher?
Um, it was definitely different because I had a bigger role than I had in the other one. And in this specific slasher, again, I'm trying to think because I don't want to give away too much. It was it was different because I have different interactions with the killer or the antagonist
Yeah,
than I did previously in Boy from Below. I have a little more interactions with them, and even so for the audition, auditions have a lot of rules with them. They say, blank background, lighting, chest up, don't like do too much. I actually went an untraditional route for mine, which I don't want to I don't want to say this is good advice because some casting agencies and people will be like, "Oh, no." Like they don't want to see that
uh,
unless like, there's a really good reason for it. Specifically in this one, I had it like cut to a completely different scene because the scene happened right after, but there was no good way to do a transition like
uh,
naturally. So I like did like a funny camera thing where I was here, I went over, and then it like cut to me somewhere else in a different shirt and stuff.
uh,
And it probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but for the specifics of the scene, it made a lot of sense. And apparently it went over well because I ended up getting the part, but
oh yeah,
it was just a little risk I took. And it was a lot different because I'm like, okay, I am having a lot more interaction with the antagonist than
oh
I
yeah,
did in the last one where I was just at a party and they were talking about it.
oh yeah. Uh, so what would you say would be your dream role? And it's not one you have to write or anything like that, but what would be your dream role and what kind of movie would that be?
Hmm, that's a hard one. I mean, I have a lot of roles that I would love to play because I love to push myself as an actor. I love to see and dig deep and see what I can really do. Like when it comes to bringing a character alive to the
Oh
screen.
yeah,
Like, I guess my dream role isn't necessarily a specific character or a specific like thing I want to do. It's more of an idea. Like my dream role would be to be in a film that affects a lot of people, that speaks to a lot of people, that shows a character and their story in whatever instance or situation it may be, but something that shows a character arc, shows a character learn how they react or how they deal with things that people deal with in their everyday to day life. So
Oh
like
yeah.
maybe somebody can watch that and be like, I like they don't feel as alone since they can relate to this character, or they can see how this character changes and they can reevaluate how they feel about certain things or people and be like, maybe I need to rethink this, or maybe I like should take a second and walk a mile in their shoes. I want to be able to speak to people, and that would be my dream rule, is to help people, inspire people to do what they want to do, to chase their dreams, to reflect a little more, and something that can really touch them and they can relate to as a person, as a human being.
Oh yeah. Uh, so if it's okay with you, let's kind of talk about your life outside of the movie
Yeah.
industry. Because I don't know if you come from like a family with background with movies and music and stuff like that. But how does your family like? Are you the only one in your family that does acting? And if so, how did your family react to you telling them that this is what you want to do?
So, yes, I'm the only person in my family that does acting or the media and stuff. I come from a smaller town. At least it's not as small a town. I guess it's not a small town. I come from Zanesville, Ohio. It's
Okay.
just outside of Columbus, about an hour. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple people from here that I know that are actually in the acting world. One of them actually lives out in LA and he's doing very well. Um, but when I kind of first started going into it, I mean, like I said earlier, my mom actually bought me some books as well. Yeah, like I said, I was buying books. She bought me books as well for the directing and stuff. But my parents were very supportive of it, and so was my close family. They were real with me though. They were like, "Look, you got to understand that, you have to work hard at this. If this is what you want to do, you got to work hard because a lot of people it doesn't pay well. They like because everyone told me, it doesn't pay well, you won't make it because it's so hard, it's so rare, and it's a lot of people that do that aren't, they're not successful. And they were saying it, but in a way of like, we support you. We just want to let you know that it's harder to make it in this field. It's such a small percentage. You know what I mean? Like you had the people saying it from a negative to light, but my family coming from a place of love, saying
Oh
like
yeah.
we love you and care about you. That's why we're telling you this, because we don't want you to go out and nothing's happening, or it's very slow, it's gradual, and then you lose hope. You just walk away. So I mean, I'm very grateful for them because they were very supportive of me. They've helped me with nearly every step. Um, and then eventually I started learning stuff and I started figuring this business out. And I'm doing a lot of the stuff for myself now, like all the research and constantly improving and meeting people, but they are still my cheer squad. They're still cheering me on
Oh
and
yeah.
supporting me.
All right. Uh, I mean, what you say and what how your family approached you and told you the truth and everything like that. I think that needs to be a lot more prominent in people who are trying to get into this industry because a lot of people, at least in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people who are brand new to this just want to jump in head first without thinking of the
Yep.
consequences.
Yep. And who doesn't? I mean, your life changes a lot when you start to do this. I mean, filming can be unpredictable, especially when he's like, "Hey, are you available this week, Tuesday, Wednesday?" And if you usually like work a 9 to 5 job or something, you're like, no, I can't get work off in time." Like you have to sacrifice a little bit to be able to work in this profession. Or if you're lucky enough to have a job to where you can do that, then yeah. But starting out, it's a lot of people do want to just jump head first, which I mean, who doesn't? It's exciting to think about, but
Oh yeah.
a lot of things change in your life. I mean, you one, I think acting brings out a lot of stuff in different people. for me, I've really had to learn myself a lot more. At least that's helped me understand myself and my past. And like, I've grown a lot because I've had to become more introspective and retrospective in who I am so that I can portray this character on a screen because I relate to them in some way. Or even worse, it's a character that I don't relate to. And I'm like, okay, so how am I going to do this? And that's when it gets really hard because a lot of actors draw from what they know and what they've experienced, which I've experienced a lot. I feel like a lot more than some people have.
Oh yeah.
Just learning, I've had a lot of life lessons I've had to go through, and it's made me who I am today. I had a friend of mine, he said, if you want to be a better actor, go out and live life. The more experiences you have, the more things you learn from, it'll teach you how to be a better actor.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's kind of what I try to use. I try to pull and harness my experiences. Like, how can I use this differently for this character? How can I relate? Like, if this character is suffering grief from, say, losing a friend, I'm blessed enough to where I have not had to handle that in real life. I have not experienced that in real life, and because I know it's hard on somebody to lose a friend like that. But
Yeah.
I've lost a grandmother before. I've lost a grandfather, so it was different. But I was like, how can I understand how I feel and my feelings on loss and grief with a grandparent? But how can I apply that to a character who lost a friend?
Oh
So
yeah.
you got to come from a similar place, even though it's different, but it's really interesting trying to pull those experiences together to do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So they say in this industry that all it takes is one, and you can reach the sky. But also that it, I mean, that's a double edged sword because all it takes for one, and then like if you do a movie like Showgirls, now Elizabeth Berkley can't get cast in anything. So it's a double edged sword. And how do you traverse that sword? Because you may take a role that may again skyrocket you or make you fall. How do you traverse that sword?
Um, I would say whenever you get a role opportunity, you don't do anything you're uncomfortable with. I mean, if something seems like a really good opportunity, but it's not something you're going to be comfortable with, regarding, you know, like what you believe, your faith, or what you value,
Mhm.
don't do it. I mean, that's some of the best advice I've ever heard from somebody, and that's the best advice I would give somebody is you gotta trust your gut because th there will always be more roles. I mean, there will always be more opportunities. And if you're not comfortable with something, I mean, don't do it. I I'll read through a role and I will ask questions like, does it involve this? What does my character do? Like, if they can't give a lot of information, I'll be like, I know, I understand. I need to know what all my character does and represents. Like for me, I'm all about representing real life situations and people and decisions. Like people in real life, not everybody makes all good decisions. Not everybody makes all bad decisions. In real life is such a gray area. People make mistakes. People do things they shouldn't do. So essentially, when I'm reading for my character, I'm thinking, what am I representing here? Like, am I pushing a good idea? Is my character pushing a bad idea that I really don't want to spread? Or is my character pushing a view of a certain like person? And like, how is that used? Because I don't want to be a bad influence. If I'm
Right.
a part of a project, I don't want to be pushing a message that is wrong or evil or bad or hurtful to other people or other groups.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want to do. So I want to make sure what am I representing? And you know, you gotta. you got to be strong with your faith, your values, your beliefs, whatever it may be. And that's the last thing you should do is betray your what you believe.
All right.
And at least in my opinion, just because once you start kind of going against that, that's when you kind of start to fall apart with boundaries and with your moral compass and who you are. And y- I just think if you're not comfortable, it's not the end of the world to say, hey, look, I'm not really comfortable with this. And if you are, then do it. And nobody knows what's going to happen.
All right.
I could take a role and it could be, oh, this movie blows up overnight and I become a household name, or it could be, oh, it was really bad. And actually they got some bad views of me and this doesn't look good. I mean, anything can happen. I think what's important is just do it.
All
Just
right.
go and do it.
All right. So in this industry, there's a lot of people who are lately been just getting into it and kind of, put getting their feet wet. What advice would you give to them about just coming into this industry and like people who want to be writers, directors, actors, or just anything in this field? What advice would you give to them?
I'd say kind of similar to what I said earlier. I would say be respectful of other people. You got to show people respect if you want respect back. Show your passion, show people you're passionate. Be a hard worker. You got to work hard, be attentive, listen to what people are saying to you because it could be, no matter what level of importance you feel it is, you never know how important it could be to that person. Listen to what people, be an active listener, and I guess be optimistic. It's not always easy, starting out in this or even being in this for a while, and so it might be a long day, it might be 2 in the morning, everybody's tired, everybody's just ready to go home and go to bed, everyone's hungry on a set, and it takes one person to be optimistic, like, oh, like to joke, be like, yeah, come on, guys, or whatever, and it can change the whole attitude of the room. And I want to say for people that are going to be pessimistic, a lot of people don't want to work with that just
Mm,
because of how strenuous the job can be sometimes. So the more optimistic you can be, no matter what experience level you have, if people like to work with you, you're going to get called back for things.
all right,
If if people pick up on your energy in auditions and self-tapes, like some auditions they say, okay, do your slate, 30 seconds, tell us about yourself, and then do the audition. I honestly think those 30 seconds are more important than the audition sometimes because you got to show the casting team who you are
oh
and why
yeah,
you're here and why you're passionate. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing is, are they going to work, one, are they going to want to work with you? And two, are you going to show up and be ready to go? Be ready to work.
oh yeah. You know, that's very sound advice because we had an instance with our mutual friend Brian Rife where he sent in his audition for Not There, and then like after he did the audition, he went from being the character to being himself, and that was a respect that that man will always I will always hold that dude in high regard. So
Yeah.
yeah. But we are coming near the end of the show though, but I do want to give you a few moments to plug your socials where people can or cannot reach out to you. That's entirely up to you. Where they can see your films and just what they can be looking forward to in the future that you have planned.
Yeah, I would say socials, just look up my name, Mikahfikes, Micah Fikes, and all my stuff will probably pop up. Instagram, Facebook. I also have a link tree, which should be linked to my Instagram and Facebook. That's gonna have my demo clips, my information on my acting and agency sites. Um, yeah, so people can reach out to me there. They can check out what I'm doing. This later this spring, I do have a short film called Sleepwalker coming out. well, not coming out, filming, and it'll probably come out later this year around fall. Essentially, there is a new miracle drug for sleep apnea, and it's like a collection of tapes of the test trials for this drug. So, and let's just say, let's just say the last thing they'll get is sleep. Yeah, that's what I'll say about it. And then I actually have two films coming up that I'm going to be filming. The first one is going to be a second part of End of Another Time, where I play a band member called Charlie. Essentially, it's the story of a band, and like every band, they want to make it big, right?
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, this one is a little more real, and it kind of just follows the story of this band that wants to be famous, that wants to make it big, and the reality of life just kind of starts hitting them, and it's just a individual story focusing on all the different band members and how life throws us a curveball sometimes, and all we can do is adapt, and it might not lead us where we want to go, but it leads us where we need to go.
Oh yeah.
And I have another film that I'm actually going to start filming here in like 2 weeks. It's called Call Me Harlow. It's a See, now I'm entering the waters again where I'm not sure how much I can say. But let's just say it's going to be a thriller, suspense, and there is a lot of very talented cast and crew members that are going to be a part of this project. And I cannot wait for you guys to see it. We're actually running a Seeds and Sparks for it. Call Me Harlow. If just go there and check it out, and we would love it if you could contribute a little bit to this and help this story come to life. And that's to whoever's watching.
Oh yeah. Uh, there is one more movie I do want to mention because again, phenomenal people I know you're working with. Saw the trailer for it, and the trailer looks really kick ass, and that's What's Wrong, Wendy?
Yep.
That looks really good.
Yep. I'm gonna no shade to everybody else I've worked with because I always have fun on set and I've worked on so many incredible sets, but What's Wrong, Wendy was truly a different experience. I I had a lot of fun on that set. I met a lot of fun people. Everyone there was extremely awesome to work with, extremely talented. Everyone brought their A game. I was
Oh yeah.
like, everyone, I'm looking around on set. I'm like, man, these people are incredible. Like,
Oh yeah.
they go in the character, boom. And then it made me just go right into character. I'm like, oh, okay. And I go right into it. But there's some stunts on that. There was a lot of what's it, SFX makeup and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You're, everyone's gonna love it. It was incredible, and I cannot wait to see it myself because there's so many action-packed scenes, and it pays such a tribute to like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah.
It's I can't wait. The cinematography looks incredible from what I've seen. Cody Newton did that. Fantastic job. Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks really good. Uh I do want to say that Micah's film The Woodsman is on YouTube. Definitely check that out. It's a phenomenal movie. Uh I want to thank you, Micah, for coming on. You've been, an awesome guest. It's been cool, and it's been really it's been good getting to know you because we've spoken off and on a couple times, but
Yeah.
first time, kind of face to face. So, but I respect what you're doing. I respect you for who you are, and just keep rocking, man, because you're killing it right now. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been a delight to talk to you about all these things and kind of just share my experiences. And it's really awesome. I love what you're doing too. All the
uh,
people you're working with, the projects you're working on. It's awesome. And I love the awards that you guys do. I think it's really good for our community to have that, to kind of push that.
I appreciate you. I always say this show and anything I can do for anybody is for everybody out there, because at the end of the day, if we're not helping each other lift each other up, then who's going to do it? So,
Exactly. You know what game I love game theory, as
all
in it's scientifically proven that the people that try to sabotage other people are far less successful than the people that try to uplift their competitors and uplift other people.
oh yeah, oh yeah, 100% agree. You know, last little thing would be that in the future, you have probably one of the brightest futures in the independent scene, actually just in the industry, period.
Thank you.
And that comes from a lot of different people that I've spoken to. Every time I'm in a conversation and your name comes up, it's nothing but respect. So, yeah, that's a
That's
good thing.
I love hearing that because I try to do my best.
All right. All right. Thank you again, Micah, for coming on. And everybody, until next time, stay NC-17.
Thanks for having me. See ya.